beginning the program with the chairman of the Budget Committee in the House, Representative Jodey Arrington of Texas. Congressman, welcome back. How are you?
Hugh, I'm great. Glad to be with you. God bless Texas and God bless America.
Are you close? God bless this one big, beautiful bill. Are you close to getting it done?
God save the Republic, right? Yeah, we're close. We've been working on this for several months, long before the president took his oath of office and before this Congress even convened, and it's paid off. We are down to, in the football analogy, the red zone, with a few issues yet to be resolved, but I believe they will be. The president spoke to us, reminded us this morning of what a historic opportunity we have and how important it is to turn this country around and make America safe and prosperous again. Of course, this one big beautiful bill has the tools and resources to usher in that golden age he talks about and to advance the America First agenda. So there's a lot on the line. Failure's not an option, and I think we're going to punch it in the end zone here in the next few days. I think we'll make that deadline of Memorial Weekend.
Now, the spending on entitlements is going to stay stable or go up in most cases, is my understanding, and that there will be no tax on Social Security, no taxes on tips. I'm focused on the tax portion of the reconciliation. Are we still there?
Yes, I don't see the tax piece moving much. We dialed down the cost of the tax policy, which means we dialed some of the tax policies to a shorter duration on a temporary basis as opposed to permanent tax policy. So that was the way to meet the $4 trillion cost that was connected to the offsets of economic growth or revenue to the Treasury, plus the $1.5+ trillion in spending reduction. A lot of that's focused on cleaning up the Biden spending spree from the last 4 years, like the student loan bailout and the green energy tax subsidies. But there are also some good government stuff in there in terms of welfare reform, work requirements, program integrity to make sure that illegal immigrants aren't benefiting from taxpayer social services. So I think overall it's a fiscally responsible bill, and I think it's a good step of many steps to actually right the fiscal ship and stave off a debt crisis, which I think looms large over the horizon of our country.
Now, before I go to that, I want to make sure there aren't any, it's 1,100 pages. There aren't any like subsidies for Red Raider football in there, are there?
Ask that question again. I'm sorry.
I was just wondering whether you got a new stadium for the Texas Tech Red Raiders in there, if that's one of the things you said.
No football stadiums or bridges to nowhere. You know, we're trying to clean up the tax code. We're trying to, limit the scope and scale of the federal government. And look, in seriousness, we can always do more. Nobody gets everything they want in a bill this big and with such a thin margin. We've got the smallest margin in 100 years, I think, Hugh. So, we're threading the needle and we're still meeting the objectives of opening up domestic energy and restoring energy dominance, obviously unleashing growth and prosperity. The cornerstone of that is the extension of the tax cuts plus, and then making the biggest investment in the history of our country in border security and strengthening our national defense, all while offsetting with mandatory spending reductions, twice as big in terms of cuts as we've ever had in the history of our country. So all in all, it is big, it is beautiful, and most of all, it's going to make a big difference in the lives of our fellow Americans and our country going forward.
Does in the money being spent on the border, Congressman, does the wall get built? And if so, how quickly?
Well, we have a president that actually believes in the rule of law, unlike the last president. So you've got the will and commitment to follow through on what we passed in Congress years back to build the wall. Joe Biden, among many other decisions, thumbed his nose at the Supreme Court, and Congress by halting construction of the border wall. But we put more resources into the physical structure of the border wall, also technology, also boots on the ground. I mean, all the various things we need to support the president's new posture of detaining and deporting people who are in this country illegally, which is, as diametrically opposite of what we've experienced over the last 4 years. So the resources are important, and they're on their way to the tune of about $150 billion to $200 billion.
So, Mr. Chairman, how did that meeting go this morning with the president? I was doing color commentary on Fox Morning, America's Newsroom with Bill and Aisha, and it seemed like he was pretty ebullient going in, and it sounds like coming out he was the same way. But how'd the meeting go?
He is very fun guy to listen to, just very authentic, tells you what's on his mind. You don't have to, he's not going to come in and give a formal speech like many politicians. In fact, he held up the speech that was prepared for him and kind of threw it to the side and just spoke from his heart, and did a great job of connecting with the members. And again, reiterating how important this moment is, how monumental it is if we're going to restore the greatness of this country. And he talked about unifying as a party, something that seems like Democrats do well, but Republicans struggle with. He said that cannot be the case at this moment in the life of this country. So I think he set a great tone. He didn't try to micromanage the outstanding issues to resolve as a conference, but he gave us a good push, and it was, I think, the right message at the right time to get this thing to the floor this week and on and across the transom to the upper chamber.
And last question, Mr. Chairman, when it comes back from the upper chamber, they're going to make some changes, obviously. Who's going to be in the conference? Are you part of the conference?
Well, as budget chairman, I sure hope so. I mean, I'm on Ways and Means, so I had a hand in the tax reform piece, but we were the lead dog in the sled when it came to making sure we had the right fiscal framework, which is what you start with. It's called the budget resolution. It sets the targets on spending and savings. And then we just shepherded the process so that we could meet those targets and have a meaningful set of policies that are really historic, as I mentioned before, from tax to energy to border and spending cuts. So I'm very pleased, and I do anticipate that we will conference, although I hope the Senate just makes immaterial changes, non-substantive changes, and sends it back, because they haven't done the work that we've done. And they're really relying on our budget targets and the work through the various constituencies and caucuses that are certainly diverse in both the Senate and the House Republican conferences. So to expedite this, I hope they make some minor tweaks. We don't have to have a big conference, and we can get this onto the president's desk. Most importantly, make it a reality in the lives of the American people.
That would be great by July 4th. Chairman Jodey Arrington, Congressman from Texas, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it very much.
Great to be with you as always, Hugh. Thank you.